Welcome to Body Landscapes, a space where art, body, and soul meet. Let's find a balance between the rational and intuitive, between the brain, heart, and womb. Take a deep breath and let's dive deeper. Let's talk about cycle. Not like a doctor, not like a priestess, just like intuitive human being, living in a breathing, warm, heavy, present, real body. And I give you a wider perspective. Now, currently, I do interview with the women who are brave enough to participate in a research group for endometriosis, where we will explore deeper roots. And all of them claim, not only all of them, all of the women with whom I work, they claim pain in a family is silenced. It's a part of life. It's a part of being a woman. And, for example, my mother also had it, the pain or endometriosis or fibroids or something. And it's normal. It's just part of life. And here is a reminder, if something present everywhere, it's not mean that is good or normal. It's not normal. Maybe this is typical, yes, but this is not a norm. Even if you don't have cycle due to your hormonal therapy, you are in a cycle anyway, big female cycle, energetically. And to stop the cycle with hormones sometimes seems like an effort to stop a huge pain. Stop this painful red river flowing from generation to generation, filled with pain, with a heavy information. This pain was present in the family system, collective pain. And when we stop the cycle, it seems like we stop that pattern. Or, for example, when the uterus removed, sometimes it's great relief. But let's talk about, start with the luteal phase. For women who had the bleeding. And I want to mention that the pain in the luteal phase is usually considered as a part of life. And women simply get used to it. In reality, it's optional. The pain, or PMS, PMDD, is a consequence of stress, overwork, life changes, medication, sport, movement. Like, cycle is so fragile. The hormonal balance is so fragile. It's respond to like everything what happened in your life. Okay? Just feel this connection. And today women are often absorbed in consuming information, visiting doctors, searching for gynecologists, and the hormonal replacement therapy is so popular, and following trends around perimenopause. And once again, we often miss the most important thing. We lose or even never have connection with the feelings of our own body. And we have lack of trust in ourselves, in our feelings. And this is in general, this is a trend, okay? And many women see this as something, for example, when I talk about feel your body, connect to your body, and trust to your gut feeling. So some women, they see that as something mystical or magical, but in reality is simply a subtle sensitivity. This is level of your sensitivity when you sense and you aware of what's going on in your body. I should say that stoic woman or man, it's for me sounds like a diagnosis. When someone told me that my father was a stoic man, I hear that like oh my God, this is not the example. Maybe this is mystical and magical, that some people, they believe that the stoic is a great example. For these stoic things will pay later grandchildren. Okay? And now we live in era when we have to restore the connection with our bodies. And even it's so complicated because our life, the way we live in the cities, in Europe or in USA or wherever, it's really complicated. You should be able, to it's like a small revolution against the society, against the family, this system, but you choose yourself. And this is simple choice. It's you or others. And come back to that connection with the body-mind connection. Why I invite women to use art therapy? Because this is natural language for communicating with your inner world. And I'm not talking about craft. Just do something with your hands. Okay? No. Art therapy, this is not just observing phenomena. This is a special tools to change, to transform, to bring real change into your life. It's not just art class. For 1 hour, forget about your problems or calm your anxiety, or just a breathing technique when you calm down your nervous system. No. There is a tools to bring a real change. Okay? And we should understand that when I'm talking about art therapy, this is not art class. This is not just something light on the surface we will do and our mood will be better. No, temporarily, you can feel even worse. The better you feel, the next day, the 1 week, next cycle, because it's bring change, a shift. And when it comes to the cycle, I offer a special workshop where we explore this menstrual cycle in a broader way. This is not a medical perspective. Medical perspective is good, the knowledge is good, but it's not give us a healing, truly changing in the family system. And it's not bring safety. The hormones can block your cycle, stop something. But it's not resolve the root of the problem. And our goal is to go straight to the roots and trying to bring this resolution on a somatic level and feel that shift and that release when you truly feel, and it's not the exercise. You leaving this release and you feel expansion on the body level. And when I talk about menstrual cycle through creative lenses of art therapy, it is a rhythm in which your body and consciousness live. Sincerely, I hated this rhythm when I was a teenager. But now I'm 40 years old woman who had some wisdom during the way. And now I accept my being. And the most of all of this, I accept the need for the certain lessons. I live my life. Okay? And every one of us has our own drama and our own perspective for inner growth and our potential and all that. And the rhythm we explore as a beautiful line or color, imagination, free play of your imagination. The hormonal rhythms influence your physical state, energy levels, emotional backgrounds, and it's all so interconnected that we cannot separate your hormones from your emotions. Okay, because the different level of emotions, they influence on each other every second. And some specialists, they start from hormones itself. But we start with the meaning, because you feel something. The brain fog, the low mood, like it's all give absolutely new perspective when you draw it. Okay? When you talk about that, it's one perspective. But I am an art therapist, and I invite you to draw. Just show me how you see this exactly and why it's happened. And it's always the answer. Always. And one simple insight can clarify this sky. You learn your fluctuations. You learn your rhythm. And nobody can give you clear framework which works for you, because you have your meaning why you get up, or you don't want to get up because you lost your meaning, because you are struggling with some suppressed emotions, and you feel that you're stuck. And the moment you find a way, everything absolutely shifts. And it's complicated to hold on together inside your brain. And because of that, it's so easy to put it on the paper. Just put it onto the paper and make it visible. And you take some distance and you see that rhythm. And we cannot, like some of the women, they compare rhythm, hormonal rhythm of women and hormonal rhythm of men. But this is the quickest way to accept that this is my rhythm, not just man, woman, or something. You have your own body balance, and this is like your resources. You have only this body and this rhythm, and don't be so stubborn with your intellect, because I've been there. When you think that you can do everything, that you have this illusion of control. This is out of your control, but this is like of waters, okay? Waters. And these waters, they can help you in some way, because you can manage this rhythm and just accept that you need rest. Actually, when you see your rhythm through the changing of activity, passivity, like active phase and rest, reflection, active phase and rest, reflection, you will never go into burnout if you will follow this reminder that you are active, and then you should slow down and reflect. And really let it go. The uterus shedded in the tissues and bleeding, and this is letting go. And you active and let it go. Okay? Do you feel these waves? Like in the sea or in the ocean. And this is just a reminder, and actually this is wise. You will not go into burnout if you allow yourself to rest. And why you feel guilty or shame when you rest? Because of the inherited scenarios. Women mostly was not allowed to rest. Okay? This is started not from like this time, it was before. And this is just a reminder that the separation is not fully done. And you do separation. Okay? And allow yourself to rest because it's wise and it's right for you. And when we begin to explore deeply why we have some kind of pain, fibromyalgia, or knee pain, or like wandering pains. Sometimes we have headache, migraine, or wandering pain. And when we go deeper into the pain, what is really happening, we always discover that something occurred before and the body reacted. And because of that, when I ask you to draw the rhythm and the cycle, it's so easy to find the important points and place events and reflect the connection between events and strong pain. Events and strong pain. And then we see that there is no need to be angry at your body because your body just reacted. Before symptoms intensified, maybe tics, in the eye or somewhere else, or rash or insomnia, something happened. The body is always responding appropriately to something, and it helps not to trap this pain, but to acknowledge and release it. Because the biggest skill is to be active and relax. Be active and relax. Okay? Like a muscle. Contract it and then relaxed, release, breathe out. And the problem is when we stuck. But we stuck just because we unconsciously moving on autopilot through life. And this autopilot may be in relationship, with your food, with your partner, with your work, but you're stuck. And when we find this point, we can release it. Because you cannot work with something if you don't know where it is and what it is. We need to catch it. We need to feel the contact, not think about that. You should feel this contact, like when I touch you and with your skin you feel my touch. Okay? The same happening when you go into your somatic space and you connect with something inside of you. I know most of my clients, when they're alone, they avoid and they scared to touch this pain, to touch the phenomena, and they want to unwind. And sometimes, for example, art classes will be not a solution. They are escaping activity. When you should do opposite, stay at home, be alone, and feel that connection, not escape this connection. And this work with drawing, it's anyway safe. It's safe enough. What else I want to share with you? I'm just advocating for wisdom of your body. Just your body never react like we made for survival. Okay? And if your body do something, it's about survival and efficiency. Your body will not hold something if it's not needed. Just the reason why the body work this way, maybe like you don't understand or not agree, and this is not effective from your perspective. But this is like basic. If you can offer something better, okay, we are here just right for that. Offer to your body something more effective. And just a reminder, when you ignore your fatigue, neglect your need for rest, overload yourself, you experience consequences. This is like a contract. Nothing personal, just business. When you ignore your needs, that you avoid rest, you just keep going, and then you just have consequences. Yes, and this is pain. You pay with pain. If you don't want to pay with pain, you should pay attention when it's needed, before it's too late. And when I'm talking about too late, I mean surgery. Because nothing happened in 1 minute, But I see women when they already prepared for the surgery. And if you can do something earlier, step out from your avoidance and consciously, with discipline, start doing body-oriented work and go straight to the point, do it now. Don't wait. Because the body is always real, it's here, it's present, and you can fly away, but your body, if, for example, something growing inside, it will grow, and continue till you don't pay attention. And it's interesting that sometimes, even if clients pay for the session, they anyway don't pay attention. The money is a good motivator, but when we come to these so vulnerable points, even the money is not the guarantee. Sometimes the pay for the therapy is a good motivation to go and do it anyway because you paid. If you paid, you have to do it. Like you more dedicated to the work, you do it anyway, there is more responsibility, and you pay attention. If you pay attention. And this is good. But when we come to these scary and deep, dark, unconscious, and vulnerable things, even the money it's not a good motivator, unfortunately. And because of that, I like high achievers. I like motivated and disciplined women from the business, from the some on the top of responsibility. They are working and they know what it means to be disciplined and to be responsible. And when they take their health and their body as a project, they are so motivated and dedicated, and this is absolutely unbelievable. And this is beautiful, that you apply your skill in a good point for your health, like with a good reason, good intention, not against it, but when finally you do it for yourself, not for others, you do it not for yourself, I mean in your mind, you do it for your body, and with respect. This is beautifully, and I saw how effectively the work can unfold it. Like even with some women, we have 2 sessions in 1 week. They just give enough space, really give space, time, effort, attention. This is the most precious. The bad thing that many women, they may not even realize that the body is in chronic stress. Because sometimes mindfulness practices, conscious attention, presence, and we get it. Okay, I feel that tension, I feel that stress, I know why, and we work with that. But sometimes this chronic unsafety and stress is so deep and you don't feel it. You cannot feel it. There can be like a background feeling of unsafety. Just it was always present. This unsafety like a ground, like a basement. And you are not even aware of this because you think that this is how it looks like. This is life itself. This is like a huge illusion that the life is unsafety. And this comes from the special childhood experience or events that triggered something in your system, which is collective. Okay? For example, moving to another country or a major crisis like war or something big and really transformative. And many people experience the activation of ancestral trauma, heightened anxiety, fear, panic beyond rational limits. When I'm totally overwhelmed and absolutely like it's too much. And when we go deeper, this is just collective. This is collective level, open wound. And we have to deal with this. And this is this deep unsafety when it comes. It always comes non-verbal period of your childhood, or it's collective. It's prenatal, it's from your mother, from your grandmother, or it can be related to male side, like maternal or paternal line. There is different things, but everything influence on everything. And when we go deeper, we see that external events, and because of that, I like actually phenomenological approach. We start not from the theory. We start from the open mind and presence. Because we see that external event triggered all trauma. It surfaced, and that is why the reaction feels so intense. But we need to find it. And in this exploration, we also look at when your cycle began. Come back to the cycle. We take a look how it started. Because that moment reveals a lot. I mean, the very first period, a menarche, it always shows when ancestral programs were activated. Now you are a woman, and the magic happens. Before your first menstruation, you were simply a human being. And many women say, I used to run with the boys, I was active, I was free, I feel that freedom, I was normal. But when menstruation begins, pain can appear and suddenly something changes. Because at that moment, a female program is activated. You are one of us. And depends on what it means, one of us. What is this? They give you that burden. Unconsciously, of course, this is all between the words. And you may either unconsciously accept it. You can say, yes, I am one of us. This is actually the truth. The menarche is an initiation process. But you are initiated anyway, without the ritual, without beautiful flowers, without all the things. You are initiated. This first blood initiate you. Even if your mother not prepare you, like the program is switch on. And you can accept or resist it. There is varieties. You like how you deal with all that inherited emotional and generational burdens or programs, scenarios, and so on. And sometimes one part of you tries to step into this female program, while another part rejects it. And this creates inner conflict, and both acceptance of a heavy inherited pattern or resistance to it can lead to pain. And this conflict is not necessarily with your feminine nature. It is a conflict with internal tension, suppressed truth, inherited programs, It can be a blocked volcano, because the womb is similar to volcano, and you cannot express this anger. And this anger can what it means, anger. This is the power to protect yourself, self-defense. And what I see typically in endometriosis, for example, because maybe you don't have diagnosis, my dear, but the heavy bleeding or severe pain tell us about the disbalance, and maybe you will get your diagnosis later. But if you have heavy bleeding or severe pain, it's about you as well, because the thing not about the diagnosis. There is always present this conflict with self-defense. I cannot defend myself. This is not in your mind. This I'm always talking about somatic level, about your body. Because when you draw, we see that reality, that embodied reality. And sometimes you behave differently or present yourself in a society differently. You compensate or hide or cope somehow with what's happening. But the body shows that you cannot protect yourself. You're not fight for yourself in the core, not express your true needs, not you are indifferent. Actually, while I'm speaking with you, I recall different variations, and I don't like to speculate in general, because every situation is unique. But the trend is that you suppress yourself and you not allow your body to fully express aggressive impulses. Okay? And this is just deep level, and its influence may influence, of course, on the health. It's hormonal imbalance. It influences on relationships, how you deal with your partner, with your family members, with other people. Its influence on your creativity, because creativity, it's about you expressing yourself, not to mimicate or like you are trying to be someone else, wearing mask, hide yourself, be good, and ashamed to do something not correct or something. Like, you are not fully you, okay? And this is what present. And depends on who are you in your core. Suppressed can be absolutely different things. And literally in epigenetic, it's evident that if your grandmother behaved in a certain way and had the certain, because if your grandmother, while she was pregnant, she had the certain hormones, and these hormones influence on the baby, on the fetus. And when your mother was pregnant, again, live her life and was pregnant, and again, her hormonal level influence on you, and there is evidence, like, it's so natural, and this is strange to explain this, because for me it's so this is just present. I see it clearly, and for now I don't need the special explanation, for that, because it's just truth. Okay, if you want, you can try to explain it, but it's not help me, because I know it already. This is just fact. Okay, this is fact. In every work, what we do, we always search for this conflict and try to resolve and allow body to do what he wants to do. Okay? And all this work, of course, these patterns are complex and deeply individual. And because of that, I choose small groups where I can explore each woman's experience individually, pay enough attention to everyone. And this process is incredibly valuable. It helps you understand the deeper meaning of what is happening, not just a medical diagnosis. A diagnosis itself often does not change anything. It does not necessarily reduce pain. You may still suffer, be offered hormonal treatments, and you don't want, for example. I didn't want. I didn't want hormonal treatment. And for me personally, the diagnosis never improved my life because I was diagnosed on the early stages. I don't know why it's happened because here it's more complicated. But I got my diagnosis. I was not satisfied with the treatment. Like I don't want to take birth control pills. I don't want, and I choose a variety of holistic methods. I'm not talking about nutrition. No, nutrition is okay. I always was okay. Um, like for many years, I'm okay with my nutrition because I deal with eating disorder also. But when I, like all the problems I solved through the constellations, through the body oriented psychotherapy, with the deep roots, because when I revisit my relationship with my mother and some my childhood conflicts and the reason of my situation, I don't have eating disorder, but I eat like a cow, and it was visible and it was strange, and I gained a lot of weight just because I was eat to calm down, like the endless black hole was inside of me. But I deal with it not through controlling my behavior or like filling the papers, the diaries, or something, calculating something. No, I always how to say, find a wider rules for myself. Okay, I know like protein and vegetables. Okay, and this is not works for me. For example, dairy is not work for me. Sugar, bread, but this is obvious. Like I suppose everybody now know that the bread, sugar, and dairy is not good for many things, and better to avoid it. Okay, this is simple rules. And actually, when I take supplements, I never saw a clear connection between what I took supplements and I see the improvement. No, but after one session, I see huge improvement. I feel relief. I feel that, oh my God, I see the sun again. I clearly see who I am, where I'm going, and I feel the energy in my body, and doesn't matter what I eat. This is just this is just me. This works for me like this. And because of that, everything what I did, it's also was exactly about energetical roots, muscle tension, the unsafety in my nervous system, regulating my nervous system, and all of that. And it was profound. For me, it was absolutely profound. And I resolve different symptoms. For example, unexplained problem with my knees, palpitation, the problem with my allergies, with my, like, I have so many symptoms. And the doctor always told me that you are too young to have this, and leave me with no explanation. And because of that, I follow this way just because it works for me. And it's so interesting that, and also, okay, I don't want to talk about diagnosis and like claim it. I have this, let's talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I want to understand why it's here and how I can reduce pain and let it go. I mean, I don't need you in my life. And when we work with illnesses, I ask you to see it as a companion, because this is not the problem. The illness is not the problem. This is a solution for the problem, which I don't see. I'm not aware of this problem. And I want to let go of this illness. Like, for example, allergy. I don't need allergy in my life. I don't need. Okay? My grandmother had it. My mother had it. My father had it. And they all had it, and they say it like it's a part of our life. But I was separated from my family on a bodily level, and I don't have it because I don't need that endless fight against the world, because I choose safety. I choose to be connected to the world, to my body, to the environment, to nature. I choose to be open to the world. And this is profound difference with my family, where everyone is closed strictly and fighting against the environment, fighting against. Why? Because there was migration present. There is always an explanation, and it's not too complicated. This is simple when you not exploring everyone else's story. You have just your life and you deal with your body and your personal story. When you do it for yourself, it's quite simple. You just know yourself and you know your heritage. Okay? And if you're not a professional, you don't need all that complicated stuff. Just be true to yourself. And now in my 40s, I live without pain in a luteal phase totally. I can even not notice that it started. I have this strange sensation that I feel that, oh, today it will start it. In my life, I just now have it. And this is so interesting. And no pain, literally. It may be after the period started. It may be only one day because of the hormones prostaglandins, which helps the uterus to shed the lining, and that's enough. Just a little bit of this discomfort, and it's totally free, and this is fine. But my main enemy still remain cortisol, okay, and low progesterone. That the first drop is a progesterone, low progesterone, and now. We are the most important thing, how naturally we can, and our goal in the 40s, how to hold on to the progesterone, not to make it low. And how not to make it low? Avoid cortisol. They cannot live together. Cortisol and progesterone cannot live together. And if I want to have stable sleep, stable mood, I need my progesterone. And that means that the cortisol is my enemy. And the cortisol, this is life itself. The work, the situation, the relationship. Like, if you want hormonal balance in a holistic way, it means you should change your lifestyle. You should adapt your life and what you do and what you work and your relationship. You should adapt to yourself. And how it sounds to you? Like you are the queen. All this chaos around you, all this life should adapt to you. You are the main figure, the main person in your life. But this is actually the revolution. And can you imagine if you live your life from the beginning like this? Oh my God, it can be amazing. if you put yourself first from the very beginning, when you speak your truth from the very beginning, in your mind's eye now can appear beautifully the best version of you. When you was not suppressed, when you was exposed to the world and be visible and be heard, and this is beautiful. It means that it's okay. That's totally fine when you put yourself first. Not your children, not your partner, not your job. You're not a slave. Here is the freedom. When you put yourself first, this is your freedom. Standard hormone test often shows everything normal, but you're not feeling okay. And your experience may vary from cycle to cycle. One cycle you feel good, sleep well. Another, you don't sleep, symptoms appear. And when I observe closely, I see connections. And this is our goal. Reflect and see the connections between your activity, events, relationships. This is not about numbers. This is more flexible. Okay? And it comes in art therapy, it comes through colors and lines and maybe something else, depends on how it comes to you. And you can notice in general through all of your lifeline the sense of safety. This is essential. It's like being in a state of war or in a state of peace. When you are in peace with yourself, your body, your work, there is no pain. When there is inner war endlessly happening, pain appears. You fighting. I know this word like a warrior, I fight. Yeah, we all have this fighting side. But our goal to find peace. This is your fundamental basis to find this inner peace. You can be at war with your body, with your inner parts. You can be overwhelmed by life, pressures. And we are not waiting for the idyllic moment, or we accept the truth. Now this is like this. But I will do my best to change the situation. Because to bring peace, it's not mean to change in our environment something profoundly. Most of the time, this war started decades ago. And to stop it, it's just about a decision. A decision to stop it, to let it go. And for some women, this is interesting sensation that I don't know how to live in peace. I don't know. And I'm scared because I don't know me without the war. I don't know. My identity was built around this pattern or strategy or dynamic. But I have to try. Yes, I don't know myself in love, in joy, in peace, but I can find out. I can start a new chapter. I will explore how it is to rest fully, profoundly, on 100%, and to explore this calmness, that free space, that stability, just to learn to live. Because fighting and the war, this is the death side. When we look deep into the fabric of our reality, there is a death and there is a life. And when we're endlessly fighting and surviving, this is the death side of reality. And you feel the connection with death as a figure, as a big figure. In the constellations, we place this figure in the field, and this is death. She's not bad. No. Just a part of life, but this is death. And when we're talking about living, about vitality, energy, pleasure, joy, happiness, peace, it's another side of reality. And you can step out from the death territory and choose the connection, to reconnect with the life. And this is so complicated for survivors. So complicated. And this is the same, what's happening, what potentially can happen with the soldiers, with the combat who come back home. I start a new chapter. I feel again. We who experience pain, and especially as I'm working with women with endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, and different complicated issues or infertility, this is invisible war which happening in your somatic space. And what I'm describing, this is all happening inside of you, and nobody see it, nobody know it except you. But this is just a simple choice. If you want balance and to live without pain, you need to change your life. Maybe profoundly. You can choose for yourself. Maybe you never make this choice, but now you can do it. And in simple terms, you choose either yourself or others. Many women conditioned to choose others, to avoid hurting them, to keep harmony. This is emotional labor, while they abandoning themselves. The body not betray you. Most of the time, you betrayed your body. You betrayed your inner child. You betrayed your core. And maybe you even not realize that you betrayed. The body-oriented work I do helps women return to themselves, to stay within themselves, to allow their feelings and needs without judgment. Just allow your feelings and needs to be without judgment. These feelings are yours, so they are already valid. This takes time, but it builds a stable inner center, your inner ground you stand on, and you are rooted in your ground. You cannot step out from yourself. You are stay within your temple. Your body is a temple. And you begin to choose yourself more and more. And everything starts to shift. For professionals, it's beautifully mirroring the situation with your work, with your clients, with your practice. When you begin to choose yourself, you see how well it mirroring in your business. This is very nice. Because as a caregiver, we think that the success happens when we totally for others, when we care about others, but actually opposite. When you choose yourself unapologetically and respect yourself and hold your boundaries and know your feelings and respect your time, it works so well for everyone who is working for you. This is for the best, truly for the best. Another important aspect is the rhythm of the cycle. It carries meaning, especially as we approach menopause. At this stage, meaning becomes essential. We reflect on our life, where we've been, where we're going, and to make sense of everything what happened. A lot of questions about identity, about the aging and spirituality, and this big cycle from the very beginning to the very end. It's so important to see your specifically female identity growing, changing, and something happening, because it's misunderstood when it comes to the menstruality, when it comes to the female identity. Many women, they absolutely not aware that they are not the human, they are women. And this kind of work with a small cycle, menstrual cycle, and the big cycle, it gives you a deeper meaning sense about who you are and the big part of your identity, and this is beneficial. And we also realize that each woman's path is unique. That is why I don't impose rigid philosophy. Everything you need already exists within you. The body reveals it through images, sensations, and inner knowing. The most precious thing is to give a space for all that information to be expressed and acknowledged. You don't need more information. You need to allow your knowledge to be visible, expressed, just put on the paper. And our task is simply to create space for what is already inside to emerge. And that is the most valuable thing. Space, safe space, warm space, space without judgment, and permission to be, permission to take this space, to be in that space, visible as you are, with all your shit, with all your dark sides, not good sides, not perfect sides. All these imperfections made you unique. We are not dolls. We are living, breathing, entities. And permission to be. I allow me to be fully me. And I allow me to be visible to others. Okay? Because sometimes I'm not allowed. Step by step, I will guide you and share more in detail what you explore here. Experience the creative practice and meditation, and gain your own direct experience. This work brings meaning, reduces internal tension, and creates more inner peace. And as a result, pain softens, physical or emotional or even spiritual, when you feel something, what you can name a soul or consciousness. More holiness appears, more calm, more connection with yourself, and it became a beautiful and wise part of your life, your identity, and you see that how it helps you grow. It's like your personal evolution. And if you feel called, just ask me and I will share with you this webinar, this workshop. In the description, you can find the information, the link, or you can contact me in any social media and ask for the workshop about menstrual cycle. Because one thing is to listen, absolutely another thing to pay attention to your somatic space and to be fully aware and create and make visible. Like any drawing, actually, I see as a photography of inner reality. What we draw, we just make visible what we saw in our mind's eye. And the beauty is not important. I mean, the rules, there is no rules. This is your hands, your mind's eye, your space to draw and allow your drawing to be imperfect, to be unique. This is part of this permission and allowance, what I mentioned earlier. This is small thing, another small detail to allow you be fully you. Okay? And see you in the next episode. I have a beautiful practical webinar masterclass about menstrual cycle and big female cycle and all the inner alchemy which happening during your lifetime. If you want to be there with me, if you want to continue the process which we started in this episode, just let me know. You can email me and I will send you the link. This webinar is totally free. I'm deeply grateful that you spent all this time together with me, and I will be happy to see you in my next episode. Don't forget to subscribe on this podcast and see you soon.